Welcome to the Tiny Tutor. We are continuing our on location Tiny Tutor special videos here. Where are we right now?
New York.
Where in New York?
In Central Park.
We're in Central Park, which is, I think, your favorite place in New York City. So we're going to read this book, and we've taught you about the word box, and we've taught you about phonics and all these phonics games. We've taught you about writing. It's time to talk about comprehension. This is from one of our favorite authors. What's the author's name?
Mo Willems.
Mo Willems.
Ribbit.
Ribbit. And we'll show the pages as we read.
Ribbit. Piggy.
Turn the page. So Mac, who are the two characters in this book?
Piggy and Gerald.
Gerald, the elephant. Okay.
Ribbit, 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 ribbit.
Great. What's Gerald doing? He's sweating. Why would Gerald be confused? Why would he look like that?
Because Piggy is being a frog.
Why is it weird that Piggy is saying ribbit?
Because he's acting.
Well, do pigs say ribbit?
Yeah.
No, not normally. Who says ribbit? Ribbit.
Frog.
Frogs. So give me your best ribbit.
Ribbit.
Frogs normally say ribbit.
Ribbit.
This time the pig is saying ribbit.
Ribbit. Ribbit.
Mac, why would the pig be saying ribbit?
I think it's because he wants to be a frog.
Okay, he wants to be a frog. Parents, that is an example of an author and you question. That's what I call author and you for comprehension. That means that Mackenzie had to read the book to know that the pig was saying ribbit, but also she's using some of her own context clues. She's using some of her own experiential knowledge. That frogs say ribbit, and maybe the reason the pig is saying ribbit is because it wants to be a frog. That's an example of authoring you. She had to have read the pages, but also combine that with the knowledge in her own head, authoring you. That is an inference type of question, right? Never too early to infer knowledge from books. Okay, let's keep reading.
What are you doing, Piggy? I am a frog. You are a frog? Yes. I did not know that.
Let's show a picture. Gerald is saying, I did not know that.
I was sure you were a pig. You look like a pig, and your name is Piggy. I once was a pig. Now I am a frog.
Good.
You learn something new every day. When did you become a frog?
Gerald's asking, when did you become a frog?
About 5 minutes ago. About 5 minutes ago? 5 minutes ago, she was a pig. Now she is a frog.
Pause. I'm going to ask a second comprehension question. I like to space out my questions as we're reading. Mac, when did Piggy say that he became a frog? When?
5 minutes ago.
Is that answer on the page? Can you point to it? Point to it. Where's that answer? Right. And it's also on this page. This is when Piggy says about 5 minutes ago. Are you pointing to it with one finger, or are you having to go to multiple places in the book?
Just pointing at one thing.
Parents, that is the most basic type of comprehension question, and you can start there. That is what we call an in the book, meaning you can point to the answer with one finger. And you can encourage your kids, if they can't remember, it's okay. They just have to look back and point to it, and they can find the answer. That's called an in the book.
Ribbit.
Back to ribbit.
What did I got a frog? Hopping all day, eating flies. Ribbit.
Good. Pause. Second type of question. Mac, what does Gerald the elephant say that he would have to do as a frog? What are two things he says he would have to do?
Hopping all day, eating flies.
Yes.
And ribbit.
He says if he were a frog, he'd have to hop all day and he'd have to eat flies. Did you have to find that answer in one place or more than one place?
One place.
What?
No, more than
It was on two different pages. Let's show everyone. Hopping all day, he'd have to hop all day as a frog. He'd have to eat flies. We call that a think and search, meaning it's still in the book. How many fingers did you need to point to get that answer?
Where are you?
Two. Sometimes it could be 3 places, sometimes it could be on other pages. It's still in the book, but you had to think and search. He says ribbit again. Pig says ribbit again.
I don't want to be a frog.
I do not want to be a frog.
It's okay, Gerald. It's pretend. It's the end. What is pretending?
Good, keep going.
Pretending is when you act like something you are not. Sure, everyone pretends.
Pause. I'm going to ask another in the book question, Mac, meaning you can point to it with one finger. Hey, Mac, what is pretending? What does Piggy say is the definition of pretending?
Pretending is when you act like something you are not.
Yeah, when you pretend to be something you're not, but we never use a word in the definition. So, pretending is doing something that's not who you actually are or what you normally do, right? Cool. Did you point to that with one finger? Yeah. Another example of a right there. And once again, parents, you can start with those literal questions.
Even grown-up people?
Gerald's now asking who pretends.
All the time.
Yeah.
You really do learn something new every day. Do you want to try it, Gerald?
Let's make a prediction. Do you think Gerald's going to want to try this? You might be still scared?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is another author in you question. She had to have read the book and understood the context up to this point, but she was also using her own head to make a prediction.
Do you want to pretend to be a frog?
He says again, ribbit.
I cannot.
Gerald's not into it, is he?
Yes, you can. Ribbit. No, I can't. Yes, you can.
Best part.
No, I can't. Yes, you can. 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 No, I can't.
Let's show you that page. Most fun page to read. These are great books. And it's a series, everyone.
Gerald! Why can't you pretend to be a frog? Because I am a cow.
Mackenzie, do you ever do play pretend?
Yes.
Can you tell me a time that you pretended to do something or be something that you were not, please?
The first time I pretended is when I got my first audition for the ballet.
You did? What did you? I didn't even know this. I learn something new every day too, just like Gerald.
No,
What did you pretend?
I pretended to be a gingerbread.
You pretended to be a gingerbread. Are you really a piece of gingerbread? Can I eat you?
Yeah.
No. But you pretended to be gingerbread for your first nutcracker, right? Awesome. Is it fun to pretend?
Yes.
So, let's review everything. There are 4 types of comprehension questions, parents. 2 are more literal. They're on the page. 1 you can point to with one finger on a single page, and those are called right there. The other type of literal comprehension question you can point to with 2 or 3 fingers. It's called think and search, and you might find the answer on multiple pages. Then there's the other type of comprehension questions, and those are inferential questions. Those are what we call higher level thinking questions, and you want to start those very early on. The first type of inference questions are author and you. You have to have read the book, right, Mac? You have to have the understanding of what's going on in the story, but you also have to combine that with knowledge from your own head, right? Author and you. And then the last type of inferential question is really on your own. Like I said, it's nice to ask a question that's in the same subject area or topic of the book, but really your kid could answer that question having not even read the story, and that's a great confidence builder too. Thank you for joining us on location from Central Park in New York City. We'll see you next time. Steps have big effects.